Hello and welcome back to OmniFoot TV. This is your host Omar speaking, and today's video is about the Canada versus Guadeloupe game in the CONCACAF Gold Cup. Now, the tournament has only just started. This was Canada's opener, and it was against Guadeloupe at home in the BMO Field in Toronto. Considering all these factors, you'd expect them to brush the opposition aside. Now, let me provide further context. On the 85th minute mark, I decided to look up Guadeloupe's FIFA World Ranking. I wasn't necessarily familiar with them being an independent nation or not, mainly because I paid attention to the icons on screen during the game and found that they had a French flag. And then I found out that they technically belong to the French Football Association, or French Football Federation, the FFF, meaning that they are not a part or a member of FIFA. Canada is ranked 47th in the world. Canada, the same Canada that we're talking about, topped their World Cup qualifications group, made it to the World Cup, played against a very tough trio of teams in the tournament's group of death, albeit they did crash out, but they were much more inspired, much more forward-thinking, braver. I could go on. And yet, they looked like not even a shell of themselves. They repeated the same mistakes that they made during the Nations League final against the US days ago. They played horribly. They lacked spatial and contextual awareness in regards to the ball's movement, meaning they didn't know what they were doing on or off the ball. They weren't moving the ball in a consistently threatening manner. They weren't making progress of any kind. They weren't finding ways to move their opponents out of their positions. They weren't creating space. They were merely giving the opposition more space and more time to function and react. And the best part about the Guadeloupean national team in this game was that they used the ball in ways that you wouldn't have thought they would be able to. They played the way Canada should have played. They managed to be constructive in their approach to the game, constructive in regards to their movement as a unit. Their opposition, which was Canada, I looked at them and I thought, they're the guys in red. You're not supposed to be wearing black here. Now, forget the whole kit thing. I'm just saying that they're playing like you should be playing. They're looking at you and thinking, this is our opposition. We're playing on their turf. They've done very well recently. They've just gotten off the back of a disappointment that shouldn't have been. Let's see if we can exploit the exact same problems they've had and do it well. And that's exactly what they did. Canada had more possession, but despite that fact alone, they weren't progressive with it. Having the ball or regaining the ball and providing enough value with what you can achieve with it in as little a time as you have it, that is the peak of the sport. That's football heritage, as Mourinho would call it. And that's what Guadeloupe did. They finished off their chances well. And mind you, the game did end 2-2, but 3 of those goals were Guadeloupean. Canada's second goal was a Guadeloupean own goal. Their finishing was lackluster. I've repeated that word a lot, but I'm trying to hold my tongue here for monetization purposes, for future reference. The free kick, though, that Canada conceded, from which they conceded the second goal of the game in the 93rd minute, 3 minutes into injury time, 3 minutes out of 5 of injury time, 2-1 up at home. Vitória with a foul you wouldn't expect from an amateur, considering the fact that he is a veteran. And then the man marking. Terrible, terrible man marking. The kind you wouldn't see in a Sunday league game. That may be going too far, but that's exactly what we saw. And then it was tapped in. It was simply tapped in. The defense didn't know how to deal with the free kick. They didn't know how to deal with the cross. They didn't know how to position themselves against the opposition players in their own box. That was weak. It was very weak. And the most frustrating portion of the game wasn't just the scoreline. It was realizing that the Canadians walked off the pitch being booed by their own fans at home. That goes to show that they should have done much, much better. This is a point in time in Canadian football history where they are actually moving forward. They are rising. Canada, soccer in Canada is booming now. That's the exact sentence I heard at work recently. Soccer in Canada is booming. I listened to a friend of mine rank the current popular sports in Canada. He said that either way, hockey tops the list, but soccer or football is a close second. Canada are heading towards hosting a World Cup. Canada are heading towards the most monumental occasion in their history within a couple of years. They should be looking forward to doing well in tournaments like this. And mind you, I know that I'm maybe bashing them a little, but they do deserve it. With news that the Canadian FA, however, is going to file for bankruptcy, having, this piece of news actually came out yesterday. You should look at this tournament and think, okay, the Canadian players, the Canadian national team, really needs to show up. Things are getting difficult. And this is exactly when they should be called upon to show up. Because football, if not anything else, is consistency. Our sport is marked with consistency in and of excellence. And I know that the Canadian national team isn't necessarily world class, but the potential is always there. They need to redeem themselves in their next game. The manager, the players, they need to get the fans back on track and back behind them. Because if they don't do well in this tournament, things are going to be looking very difficult for them. And that is all I have to say on that topic. I just wanted to, go on and tell you what I thought. Please let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you agree or disagree with anything I've said, like this video and subscribe to the channel for more daily content. I've realized and found out that 97% of the viewership here on the channel is not subscribed. So what are you guys doing? Go ahead, click the subscribe button. Click that bell notification button too to find out whenever we upload as soon as we do. And I will see you next time the whistle blows. Cheers, everyone. Thank you once again for watching.